The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We had previously scheduled in the hour preceding this hour, Anthony Mark Rains. Unfortunately, there were technical issues that were stopping us from going on with his interview, but we have rescheduled him for a date later on. So I want to apologize for any inconvenience that the technical errors may have caused, mind you. We are also facing a very high windstorm here in St. Catharines, Ontario, where our broadcast center and studios are located. We're coming to you tonight around the world on the TalkStar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and of course, the X Zone Broadcast Network, and on Channel 54 on Simul TV. X Zone Nation, we're going to be going to Australia now. We're going to be talking to a young lady who deals in earthbound spirits, ghosts, and helping those who have died and not yet crossed over move on to the light. Joining me now from Australia is LYNNE, and I believe your family name is HEUERMANN.
That's right, yes.
Wow, I got it right. And how are you? Yeah, thank you very much. Here we are. We're, whenever I talk to somebody in Australia, I haven't asked you to say, can you tell me the lottery numbers? Because you guys are so far ahead of us.
I wish.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for joining us. Great having you with us. And how are things in Australia this morning?
Yeah, pretty good. It's afternoon here. It's been a rainy day, but yeah, good.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about yourself, LYNNE.
Okay, so I work as a clairvoyant. I do readings, I do healings, I do house clearings is probably one of the main things I do. And I find I generally get called because kids see the spirits and they tell their mum and dad and they say, there's a man or there's someone in my room. Yeah. Parents don't know what to do about it. So they call me kind of as a last resort. So I find I do a lot of that.
Yeah, I believe that children are more open to seeing and understanding more than we adults are, who have been tainted by society. Our youngest daughter, Belinda, she used to have these invisible friends that she would play with. And then our grandson would see angels. Now,
oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so mind you, doing what I do over here, I was okay, that's really nice, honey, and just keep playing. Yeah. My wife looked at me as if I had three heads and said, what? Well, just because I can't see it, you can't see it, doesn't mean the child. Exactly. I understand that you lived with a ghost, an elderly male who followed you home from the hospital after the birth of your daughter. Tell us about that.
He did. So my daughter Jade was born. This is in 1993. So I went into the hospital. It was quite a extended labor, but then she finally came because she was 4 weeks early. She got whisked away to go to the neonatal intensive care unit, and I was left in the delivery suite going, so what just happened? Nurse popped in and said, hey, your mum's out in the waiting room. Shall I send her in? I said, yeah, that'd be great. So she went out to get mum, and a few minutes later, the big double doors of the delivery suite opened, and I thought, oh, it's mum. I said, oh, hey, mum, is that you? The doors shut. No one was there. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. I felt like there was a presence around, but it wasn't my mum. Anyway, my mum came in and, everything was fine. Then I went back to my room, and I noticed over the next few days, I just felt like there was, you feel like you're being watched. Yeah. You just feel like there's someone there. And so I was feeling that, and I thought, maybe because I'm in a hospital, there's lots of people around. But I noticed I'd be sitting in the room, and all of a sudden the curtains on the window would open like someone was looking out the window. But we're in a hospital, we're 8 floors up and all the doors are bolted shut. So there's no breeze actually coming in through the window. So I thought, okay, that's strange. And then my daughter's dummy would go missing. It would be in the cot and I'd go into the bathroom. It'd be sitting on the sink. And I think, what's going on? Thinking it was a spare, I'd come back and put it down and no. And I thought, oh, all these weird, strange things. And then on about the 3rd day, I was feeding Jade in the middle of the night and I felt the presence. I thought, oh, okay, there it is again. And next thing, the bed dented down. I thought, okay, someone's sitting on my bed. I didn't feel like they wanted to hurt me, but I was very creeped out at the fact I can't see what or who or whatever is sitting there. So I thought, wow, this is really strange. Anyway, we're in hospital for a couple of weeks and then I'd had enough of being creeped out most nights. So we went home and first night I thought, oh, great, sleep in my own bed. I've got my baby home. This is great. And the first feeding that I had to do, it was about 10 o'clock at night. I went into her room. I felt the presence straight away. She had a mobile above her bed with like little things hanging off it. And it was quite a still night. It was in January, which is hot for us over here. It was quite a still, muggy night. And I just remember, like someone hit it and it just started shaking. I thought, okay, the window's shut. What's going on? So I was feeling very uncomfortable. I went out into the lounge room and sat down. And as I sat down on the couch next to me, there was an indent of obviously someone sitting next to me. So I was very creeped out again. I had at that time a German Shepherd crossed dog. So he was a big, very awesome dog and he was very protective of me. So after I fed my daughter, I thought, I'm just going to bring the dog in to see if it's okay and if this is a threatening thing and what should I do. So I brought the dog in. The dog kind of come in and sat down and looked at me, gave him a pat, looked at the space kind of up and down and then just sat down like everything was okay. So I thought, all right, so it doesn't mean me harm, but very, very creepy all the same. It was about a year later, I went to a friend of ours who was a clairvoyant and I walked in just to have a reading and she said, you've got an earthbound spirit with you. And this was the first I'd heard of that term earthbound spirit. And I went, oh, okay, what does that mean? She said, when you're in hospital, she said an elderly gentleman who had cancer died the same time your daughter was born. He got lost and was walking around the hospital. Apparently when you have a baby, there's a lot of light around. So he's come in to the light where Jade was born instead of going into his own light. So, yeah, he come home and spent a year with us. She moved him on. That was the first time I sort of heard about you can, create a doorway and you can cross them over, that sort of thing. So I found that quite fascinating. And from when she moved him on, we never had any problems again. But, yeah, he was quiet. He was always around. I could always feel him. I ended up starting to talk to him and saying, hey, how you going? What's happening? And, he always moved things around. But he was always around Jade. And I felt putting her into the room in the nursery at night and knowing he was there, it felt okay, even though it was weird. I know that sounds strange, but I just didn't feel there was any harm, but it was just weird. I couldn't see or know who it was. So that was kind of my big experience with ghosts.
Now, I understand that you were an intensive care paramedic as well, and you had some ghostly experiences.
Lots of experiences. Yeah. I did that for 17 years. So one of the ones I liked the most was I went to a 51-year-old male. He had a cardiac arrest and it was at his home. His wife was there and we called it on scene. So he died on scene. We did everything we could and he didn't survive. And his wife was devastated. She was standing next to me and then she literally leaned over him and said, there's so much I want to tell him. I'm not ready for him to be gone yet. Next thing I hear this voice next to me saying, tell her I can still hear her. And I went, okay. Medically, I could say that because they say hearing is the last thing to go once you leave. Mm-hmm. So I said, she can still hear you, just, he can still hear you. Sorry, let her know,
Yeah.
everything that's going on. And she just, oh my gosh, it was beautiful. She just poured out how much she loved him and their beautiful life together and the kids. And I'm standing there with tears in my eyes. It was such a beautiful thing. And at the end of it, she said, thank you. I needed to let him know that. And he said, thank you, for, being a part and helping her to, express that. And he was very grateful. So that was really lovely.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah.
It must have been very rewarding for you to be part of that final scene where this lady actually had the opportunity of saying what she wanted. So she got closure a lot easier on her grief.
Yeah, she really did. It was really beautiful.
I understand you've written a book, Sophie and the Spirits. It's a children's book.
I have. Here it is right here.
Oh.
Sophia and the Spirits.
And I understand you also did the illustrations, right?
I did indeed. And the book is basically about my granddaughter. She's actually 9 now. But when she was very young, she had a lot of experiences with spirits. And she would, one of the things that happened very early on is she was only, about 2.5. We went to my sister's place, and my sister's partner had died. He died suddenly, only at age 49.
Oh, good.
We think it was an arrhythmia. We don't know. They couldn't find out. But anyway, we're all at my sister's place, and Sophia was playing with the other kids. And next thing, she's looking up at the stairwell, and she's saying, Peter, Peter. She was only 18 months old when Peter died, so she didn't really remember him. But the kids were freaked out. They come and got me and my sister, and we stood on the stairs, and we were standing there. And Peter, my brother-in-law, was a very funny guy, and I could just feel him standing there, doing faces and dancing around, and she's laughing, and she's going, Peter, and she's laughing. Yeah. I said, we know you're here, Peter. We know you're here. I couldn't see him at that time, but I could really feel his essence around, and that was really beautiful. So that was, a deceased loved one where she could connect with them. She used to connect with my mum too. She'd get sick and she'd say, Nanny over here, which I'm her nan, but this is like her other nanny, which she never met. And when she was sick, she would always say, Nanny's here, and she'd point. So that was nice. But she's had some scary experiences too. And that's why I wanted to write the book, because a lot of the kids that I deal with, whose houses I go to are scared. They're seeing monsters. They're seeing, dark shadows in their room. They're seeing earthbound spirits who, the people who have died and haven't crossed over, they don't feel good. They feel like they did just before they died. And they haven't crossed over generally because it might be trauma, it might be unfinished business, they might have addictions, that sort of thing. So they don't feel too good. And she had an experience with an earthbound spirit. She lived up on a mountain sort of near me, and as they were driving down the mountain one day, a motorcyclist had come off his bike, and the ambulance were, the paramedics were doing CPR on him while they drove past. And later that night, Sophia was terrified, and she started saying, man, to her mum, man in my room. And she was looking in the corner, absolutely terrified. So her mum rang me, and I could see in my mind's eye, I said, there's a guy there in like a helmet and like leathers, like a motorbike rider. And Jay said, oh my gosh, that's what happened today. We drove past someone who was getting CPR. So obviously he died on scene for whatever reason, saw Sophia's light. She's got a very bright light, jumped in the car and went home with them. But yeah, unfortunately it really scared her. Luckily, I, by that stage, learnt how to remove them remotely. So I was able to, move the spirit on for them, and everything was okay. So,
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You and I have to take a short break, Lynn. Please stand by. Exonation. Our guest this hour is LYNNE HEUERMANN. She's in Australia, and her website is angelspeak.com.au, and we'll both be back on the other side of this very short break. Don't go away. Exonation. LYNNE HEUERMANN is our special guest. Her website is angelspeak.com.au. So is an earthbound spirit, is it a ghost? Is it a spirit, or a spirit ghost the same thing?
I use the terms interchangeably, so
Okay.
ghost or earthbound spirit. To me, it's the same thing. If it's deceased loved one, I think that's someone who's crossed over into the light. But yeah, earthbound, ghost, same thing.
Why do you think that they remain here? Could it be trauma? Could it be the misdirection of the light that a child brings to the that the spirits or ghosts are able to see? Or is it that they say, I don't want to go yet?
Yeah. Some people, it's really sudden, and they may have unfinished business. They may, if it's sudden and traumatic, they might not know they're actually dead, their body's dead, because, you can leave your body and get up and walk away and go, whoa, what's going on? And then try and communicate with people, in the 3D, in the physical, right. And it's difficult. So, yeah. Or they could be, I've noticed quite a few alcoholics, illicit drug users who just want the fix. And they don't want to, I can see the light, so what? I just need a fix. And you'll see alcoholics, there's a lot of them around pubs and clubs, and, where they'll attach into your energies and try and merge with your energies to try and get that fix again. So yeah, there's many reasons as to.
So how would one extricate a spirit that is not wanted in somebody's house?
So what I do is I create the light. So I just visualize a doorway of light, and then I connect in and talk to the spirits. So I'm lucky. Sometimes I can see them. I generally see them in my mind's eye, but I can always get a sense. I can always feel them. I can always, like when they're around, I feel how they died in my body. It feels like I'm going through it. So, if someone was really depressed and they hung themselves, I'll feel really down, but then I'll feel like a choking sensation around my throat, or I'll feel like chest pain if it was a heart attack, that sort of thing. But to move them on, I talk to them, and I say, first thing I say is, hey, I'm Lynn. I'm here as a guide. I'm here to help you get home. You're stuck. You're lost in the lower fourth dimension, and you can't be here anymore. It's not good for you. It's not good for the people you're around. And then I ask them, usually I tell them they're dead, because I found that also when I was working as a paramedic. When someone dies, you don't say that to the people, oh, they've passed on, because people say, okay, so what do we do now? Do you know what I mean? Right. You got to say, they're dead. And then people go, whoa, hang on a minute, what? So I always say that. I say, look, your physical body is dead. Obviously you're not, because you're still here with us. So once I kind of done that little bit of a shock, most of the time they know, I ask them to look into the light, and I say, who's there waiting for you? Because there's always loved ones waiting. I also say there's no punishment, there's no judgment on the other side. It doesn't matter what you did here, you can go to the other side. And usually a lot of them are just, oh wow, okay, that's great, let's go. Some absolutely don't want to, and they've got free will. That is not a problem at all. So what I do is, because I work with the angelic realms, hence the angels speak, I then ask the spirit, I say, turn around, look behind you, because usually they're so focused on people and us and what we're doing, they don't know they've got their angels, their guides, everyone behind them. So I say to the spirits, if they're not ready, that's fine. But I say, look behind you, there's your team's behind you. You've got, angels and guides, etc. behind you. When they turn around, they can suddenly connect with their team. And I say, you need to go with these guys. You can't stay in this space. So they either go into the light when I do a house clearing, or they go with their spirit helpers, generally their angels, to wherever they need to be, highest good, greatest purpose, until they're ready to go into the light. So I never kind of force them to do what they don't want to do.
How long does that take you?
It depends. Some people really stuck, really have to have a big chat to them, really got to connect to them, really got to coax them, and others just go, oh wow, the light, and they literally they're gone. It's like, hey, bye. So yeah, it depends. I mean, I go through a process when I do a house clearing. So I, set up a safe space, and I call in all my team, and I do get rid of like entities and energies first before I do the house earthbound spirits. So a bit of a process to get me there.
How would somebody know if their house is actually being haunted, if I can use that expression,
Yeah.
by a ghost or an earthbound spirit?
I find most people, if they've got pets or kids, the pets or kids will generally notice. They'll see them, they'll feel them, they'll act weird. Dogs and cats in particular, they watch. If they're looking at something, wandering around like that, or they're scared in certain places, that's a bit of a key indicator. You can have cold spots in your house. You can have, you can hear footsteps. You can hear voices. And sometimes, you just, like I was saying earlier, you just feel like you're being watched. And you turn around, there's no one there. It's just that, creepy, disconcerting, I'm being watched feeling.
Right.
Stuff moves around the house. I had that when I had a ghost with me, moved around the house. Electricity is a great one if they're trying to get your attention. So the lights will flicker, the telly can turn on and off, garage doors can open up and down, all sorts of, electrical things can go wrong, but also plumbing, because it's easy for them to, use water or electricity to sort of get your attention. So, if your toilet keeps blocking up, or you've got big plumbing problems, sometimes it could be, someone trying to get your attention. Hey, we're here.
Yeah. How about your personal emotions, feelings, thoughts? Can they also affect that?
Absolutely. So I find what happens is two things I notice a lot when I go to someone's house. One is there's an earthbound spirit in their space. And sometimes they'll feel, a bit funny. They'll have, just areas in the house that feel funny, all those things we went over. But sometimes, so they've been really sick, or say they've had trauma, or say they've had surgery, or they've been unconscious for any reason, any shape or form. It can tear your aura. It can damage your aura. If your aura is damaged, not only can the spirit sort of be in your space, but they've got access kind of where they can affect you more. And then sometimes when they come into your aura, it's like magnets and they stick. And then it's really hard to sort of pull them apart. So when that happens, you notice, like I was saying earlier, if someone died from, say, having a heart attack, you might start getting chest pain, you might start getting short of breath, you might feel dizzy, or you might start getting sick for no apparent reason. And when you go to the doctor says everything's fine, all your tests are okay, but you're going, but I've got these symptoms, and no one can find out what's going on. You may feel like, if they hung themselves, you may feel tightness around your neck, that sort of thing. So when they're really close, and they can merge with you, but then, so it's almost like they're there, but they're not there all the time, if that makes sense. So sometimes you'll really feel it really strong, and other times not so much. But you generally get tired, you get fatigued, you feel worn out. Things start, because they need our energy to survive, they sort of tapping into your energy source. So you're kind of running a bit lower. So things just don't go as well. It can be really frustrating. It can happen at work. It can happen at home. It can happen with your relationships. So it can affect every area of your life. And the longer they're there, the worse it gets.
I would imagine so. Is that what they call a walk-in?
No, a walk-in is when the person doesn't want to be in their body anymore.
Okay.
And they're thinking of suicide. Ooh. And then another spirit says, hey, I don't want to go through the whole growing up process. I'll take your body. And it's like on a soul level, they go, yeah, that's great. And they'll do a swap. But generally when you have a walk-in, someone will be really down, depressed, and, really bad. And all of a sudden, and I need to do this and this. And they're a totally different personality. So that's, walk-ins are very interesting.
Something that we're hearing a lot about lately are these shadow people or shadow figures.
Oh, yes. They're quite common, unfortunately. Really? Yeah. How I look at it is we're 3D, we're kind of in this bandwidth,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go up the frequencies or down the frequencies. So when you go up, you've got kind of the earthbound spirits, but then you've got deceased loved ones, guides, angels, ascended masters, etc., etc.
Right.
You've got the same on the other side, because the Earth is polarized. So for everything we have good, we kind of have the flip side of that as well. So, you can have the little trickster spirits, but they're all negative. They're all, I call these ones entities, but entity just means you don't have a body. But these are the ones that are more parasitic. They want to drain your energy. And it goes all the way down to the demonic. So the demonic, the jinn, they're kind of like the worst of the worst. Shadow beings, they're quite down there. They have intelligence. And what they do is they will, if they're around you, they will trigger you to have certain emotions. So whether that's anger, depression, fear. So say it's fear, you're lying in your bed at night, having a nice sleep, suddenly you wake up and you get a sense something's around and you suddenly get fearful, and that being will come close to you because the closer it gets, the more fearful you feel. Or it'll knock things over, or it'll do something to make you fearful. And then what it does is when you release that energy, it feeds on that energy. And so it's it's kind of like a downward spiral. When they're around, they're really nasty, those ones.
It's like an energy vampire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So how would you get rid of these? The same way as you would any other spirit?
No. So earthbound spirits
Mm-hmm.
or ghosts, I send them to the light.
To the light, yeah.
Yeah. If it's an entity, I go through a process which my guides and angels have been teaching me over the years, and I bring in, certain archangels and guides and that sort of thing, and then I bring the entity into that space, and I don't tune into the entity. I don't want to attach my energy to it.
Right.
So I get shown what it is, and if it's attached to a person, they show me how they're attaching to it and how that being is sort of, how it's operating with the person it's attached to, or if it's in the house, what it's doing. And then what I do is I ask that they be removed, transmuted, or integrated into whatever. Always highest good, greatest purpose. I never banished anything to hell. I just don't believe in that. Highest good, greatest purpose. So wherever they need to be, they need to be. But I use things like the Lord's Prayer. I find that really, really powerful in helping to release these beings and shift and move them to where they need to be.
Yeah. That is a powerful prayer.
Yeah, I love that one. And St. Michael's Prayer is pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
You touched very briefly on demons.
Yeah.
Are demons more active these days than they were, let's say, 5-10 years ago?
I would say yes, but I would also say in my line of work, I find certain people are attracted to certain things.
Right.
And I've had only a handful of cases that are demonic. So I don't really deal with them a lot. If I do come across it, I generally refer them on. I'll do what I can, but then refer them on to the Catholic Church to perform an exorcism. They are really difficult to shift and move, and it's not really my sphere. But yeah, I just feel there's a lot of negative stuff sort of coming out of the planet at the moment. I feel with the higher frequencies that are coming into the planet, the ascension, everything's shifting and moving. I find the stuff that was like well hidden and could live in that space because of the high frequency energies. I feel like it's in our faces now. And the other thing is people are more open. People are more aware. People that could live with a ghost before are suddenly going, whoa, hang on, there's something in my space. What's going on? And it makes them uncomfortable. So I am finding that a lot.
Now, you were saying before that these ghost spirits and especially the shadow people go towards people to get their energy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now with the amount of Bluetooth devices, the amount of cell phones that we have, is this also bringing more contact between the other side and this side?
Do you know what? Honestly, I haven't really thought about it, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes sense. The thing with the EMF is that it is messing our aura, so we're not as
sure.
protected as what we were before.
All right, please stand by, Lynn. You and I have to take our break. And Exonation LYNNE HEUERMANN is our special guest. She is an angel lady. She speaks to angels. Her website is angelspeak.com.au. And we'll both be back after this short break. Whatever you do, don't go away. And welcome back, everyone. LYNNE HEUERMANN is our special guest. Her website is angelspeak.com.au. Lynn, how did you get involved with the angels?
The angels. I don't know. I've just always been fascinated with them. And when I was, I think it was year 2000, I did a Reiki course, and I found it really opened me up. And then I did some angel readings. I got the card deck.
Yeah.
I actually went into a bookshop one day. It was quite funny. And Doreen Virtue's book and card deck were kind of sitting next to each other. And I had $20 to my name. I thought, I can't afford it. It was $20. I thought I'll keep it. I went away. And I felt like I got drawn back in, and I walked away, and I come back in, I walked away, and I thought, and then I was standing there looking at it, about to pick it up. And the angel cards literally fell off the shelf, and I went, okay, that's a sign. So I picked them up, and I got the things together, and I started doing angel card readings, and I just loved it.
So do you talk to the angels as well?
Yeah.
And I would imagine in your line of work, Archangel Michael would be one of your biggest allies.
I never do any of this work without him. He's just amazing. He's got the shield and the sword. He's got warrior angels as well. So I find, and I tell people, and if I'm doing trainings and that sort of thing, it's like always call in at least Archangel Michael to protect yourself.
And isn't another one that works closely with people who do your type of work, Archangel Ariel?
Ariel, yes. And Azrael I use a lot. Ariel's great because that's like the I don't know, there's this real motivation and strength with Ariel's energy, but Azrael is the angel of death. So I tend to really use Archangel Azrael. He's great for with the earthbound spirits and helping them see the way home and that sort of thing. So I love working with Azrael as well.
When you're working with people who contact you for your help, and what kind of questions do you get asked, or what is one of the more popular reasons for people calling you?
So let's see. Most people, they want answers.
Yeah.
They want to know what's going on. They want to know, why am I here? Why is this happening? What's going on in my life? How can I improve? How can I, get better? So I guess that would be the main one, as well as the kids saying, hey, there's spirits in my room.
I would imagine if mom and dad do not have the insight and the experience that you have, it would be rather disturbing to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I did the book originally, because I found I was going to all these homes, but there was no resources that I could give to these people and say, hey, this is what you do. This is how it works. This is the different types of spirits. And this is the ways in which you can, help your child deal with this. So that's sort of why the book come into.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Where is your book available?
It's on. There's the audio versions on Amazon, and on my website you can get the hardcover book if you want to.
And that's angelspeak.com.au.
That's it. Yeah.
It's fantastic. I commend you for that, because there isn't enough material out there for children.
No.
And I believe that these children need the information because they're the one who are having the majority of the experiences.
They're the ones that are open. They can see what's going on. They get so confused when people say that's not there, and they're like, I can see it. It's like, they're talking to them. It's hard for them, I think.
You know, on this show over 33 or 34 years doing it, we've talked about everything. We talk about ghosts, hauntings, things that go bump the night, UFOs, Bigfoot, you name it. My favorite
Right.
topic is angels.
Really?
Yes, because
Angels.
I believe in angels.
They're beautiful.
I actually saw an angel when I was young. I was about 7 or 8.
Wow.
Do you remember in the early days, the children's baby food used to come in the tin cans?
Yeah.
And open up the tin can, and back then the standards of keeping food fresh wasn't that. It was in its infancy.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, my brother, 6 years younger than me, so he would have been 2. My mother gave him this baby food from the tin can, and it was bad, and my brother was violently ill. Ptomaine poisoning was setting in. They dropped me off at my grandmother's while they drove my brother to the hospital as fast as they could. We were waiting at my grandmother's, and my grandmother, God bless her, she called all the family members to come to the house because everybody was expecting the worst.
Yeah.
And I'm standing, we're in the kitchen, and I look over, and there's somebody I don't know in the kitchen. Very warm, very loving essence coming from him. And the message I was getting was, everything's going to be okay.
It's okay.
So I guess my grandmother and uncle caught me looking in the direction of the pantry where I was looking and seeing this person.
Yeah.
And my grandma says, Bobby, what are you looking at? And I said, that man over there. And when I turned to see the man, he was gone.
Oh, wow.
And my grandmother said, tell me about it. I said, well, he was there. He was very kind. I thought he was a friend here, and he told me that everything was going to be okay. As soon as I said that, the phone rang. It was my mother from the hospital saying that my brother had turned the corner and he was going to be okay.
Beautiful.
And when I was on the police force, we responded to many emergency calls.
Mm-hmm.
A few of them, people would always ask who that Good Samaritan was who stopped and was helping them.
Yep.
And they could never be found.
Yep.
So how can anyone deny the existence of angels?
Exactly.
Like what's on the top of the Christmas tree? An angel.
An angel.
Who, to me, it's a no-brainer. Hey, UFOs, Bigfoot, hey, don't say anything wrong about angels in my book, on my show. Doesn't work.
But once you've connected with them, it never leaves you, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It
doesn't.
It's always with you. I've had a few things happen around, with the angels, of course, but yeah, that essence, that feeling you get from them is like
the feeling of warmth, love, and it feels like they're just covering you and protecting you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. You and I have to take our final break, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. I thoroughly enjoy talking to you, and I commend you for your book. And Exo Nation, do me a favor. This is the Christmas season. If you know some little guy or little gal who's special and has demonstrated once or twice or 3 times that they are special and that they have the ability to see, hear, and feel what we adults, well, most of us, have long lost forgotten. I think that this book that our guest has written, and what's it called? Sophie and the Spirits, right?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Sophie and the Spirits. It's available at angelspeak.com.au, and the audio version is available on amazon.com.
Yeah.
Lynn and I will return as we wrap up tonight's edition of the X Zone. Whatever you do, don't go away. Exo Nation, LYNNE HEUERMANN is our special guest. Her website is, do you have your pencils and paper ready? Because here it goes, angelspeak.com.au. And the name of her book is Sophie and the Spirits. LYNNE, one of the many things that you do is past life regression therapist.
I am, yes, yes.
Tell us a
It's
little
fascinating.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's fascinating in the respect, a lot of the issues people come to me with, and I look at energy blocks and all that sort of thing. But I find sometimes when something's really stuck, it's generally they've brought it in from a past life.
Really?
So we do a regression, and I always ask the source energy, the soul of that person, can we go back to the core issue of when this started? And generally it's not in this lifetime. So we go on a journey, and all of a sudden, like I do hypnotherapy too, and they'll be lying there and they'll say, oh, well, if it's a female, I'm a man. How did that happen? And, and they're seeing, different scenes in front of them and what happened in that life. And generally, I find it fascinating. If they've been killed in a past life, say they got stab wounds, they can have birthmarks in the same place.
Really?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So,
I'd make a very bad hypnotherapist.
Would you? Why is that?
Well, it's because, you were giving the example of the lady who was laying there, and all of a sudden she's a man. And how did I get like that? I'd say, well, ask Bruce Jenner. Sometimes my mind goes where it should.
I love that. That's funny.
We've come to that time where we nearly have to say so long for now. But what is your message that you would like to leave with the X-Zone Nation tonight, Lynn?
Trust that there's more than just yourself. We are never ever alone. We have angels with us. We have guides. We have these beautiful beings that are there just wanting to help, and we've got free will. So they're sitting there watching us go through life and going, oh, I could have helped with that. Oh, why didn't you ask me about that? Do you know what I mean? It's like, yes. Ask them. Nothing's too big or too small. They're there waiting. So tap into that beautiful resource.
And let our listeners know how they can contact you for an angel reading or for any of the great work that you do. Even though you're in Australia, we have Zoom. We have all these different types of video conferencing. Yeah.
I've got Zoom. I've got Skype. All sorts. And, they can contact me on the website. Whatever's easier.
And that's at www.angelsspeak.com.au.
Yeah.
Lynn, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. I love your book idea, and I wish you all the success in the world, and may the angels always be with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show. It's been awesome.
Love to have you back in the future because we still have so much to talk about.
All right. That sounds great.
And
thank you, Rob.
Merry Christmas to you and your family.
To you too. Thank you.
Good night now. And that's it for tonight, X-Zone Nation. I want to take this opportunity of thanking Craig, who is my studio producer, Mac Alexander, the programming director, and of course, the senior executive producer. That's my boss, my direct boss, who is also my wife and good friend, Laura Rogers. So thank you, sweetheart, for doing all that you do. Now, I will be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. So until tomorrow night, my good friends, no matter where you are on this great big world of ours, remember, always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. Good night, everyone.